Title: They were supposed to win. What really happened? After Dark Stories. Channel: After Dark Stories. Runtime: Target: 4 minutes, 550 to 600 words spoken. What if I told you that England entered a World Cup as defending champions, with arguably the best squad in the world, and were eliminated because their goalkeeper drank a glass of water? That's the official version. But 56 years later, a former BBC journalist has a different theory, one that involves deliberate sabotage and potentially the CIA. Tonight, we go to Mexico, 1970, and we ask a question football historians are still arguing about. What really happened? England arrived in Mexico as world champions. The 1966 squad had been good. The 1970 squad was great. Many people, then and since, have argued it was the finest England team ever assembled. Gordon Banks, widely considered the best goalkeeper on the planet, Bobby Moore, imperious in defence, Bobby Charlton still orchestrating the midfield, and Geoff Hurst, the man who scored the hat-trick in the '66 final, leading the line. In the group stage, Banks produced what Pelé called the greatest save he ever saw, a reaction stop from a Pelé header that seemed impossible. If Banks could do that, what chance did West Germany have in the quarter-finals? England were 2-0 up with just over 20 minutes to play. The game was over. England were through. Except Gordon Banks wasn't there. The night before the match, Banks fell violently ill. The team doctor diagnosed acute gastroenteritis. Banks was bedridden, unable to play. An hour before kickoff, Peter Bonetti, a good club goalkeeper who had not played a full competitive match since the end of the season, was told he was starting the World Cup quarter-final. At 2-0 down, Franz Beckenbauer drove a low shot toward goal. It was savable. Bonetti went down for it, but the ball slipped underneath him. 2-1. Then, manager Alf Ramsey made a decision that haunts England fans to this day. He substituted Bobby Charlton, taking him off to preserve him for the semi-final he was certain England would reach. The moment Charlton left the pitch, Beckenbauer, who had spent the entire match marking him, was free. With 8 minutes left, Uwe Seeler produced one of the strangest goals in World Cup history. A back header, looping over Bonetti's outstretched hand. 2-2. Extra time. Gerd Müller, the clinical, relentless striker they called Der Bomber, finished it. 3-2. England were out. Banks always maintained he fell ill from a contaminated drink, a beer or water with ice in a country where travellers were warned not to drink the local water. Some pointed fingers at the West Germans, though there's no evidence for that. Others blamed bad luck in a country where stomach illness was genuinely common among foreign visitors. But in 2026, a former BBC journalist named Jonathan Gatehouse came forward with a more striking theory. His research suggests the American CIA may have had a motive to assist Brazil, whose military regime at the time was a key US ally, by undermining a rival. He stops short of a definitive accusation, but the question, he argues, deserves asking. Was it a dodgy pint, a contaminated ice cube, a German plot, a Cold War intelligence operation, or just bad luck at the worst possible moment? We will never know for certain. And that, right there, is what makes this one of English football's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. If you want more stories where history gets strange and the truth stays buried, subscribe to After Dark Stories.